Hello, welcome back to the podcast. Today we have another guest. Today we're also going to be discussing about climate change. We're also going to be talking about sustainability. But instead of having a CS major, we are going to have a physics major with us today. Can you introduce yourself?
Yeah. I study physics, and Dilshan asked me to talk a little bit here, so I'm going to talk about it now. I study physics in Germany. Yes.
Oh, yeah, that's cool. So what's your full name, by the way, just for reference?
I rather not talk about my full name, please.
Okay, yeah, that's fine. That's fine. I respect your privacy. So let's start with the questions. Um, what is your view on sustainability and climate change as a whole?
Yeah, like climate change is I think it's one of the most important issues of this century because we're having really bad problems with climate right now, and we're starting to really feel it. I think you're Indian, correct?
Yeah, I am Indian.
I think you have seen news that the monsoons are much stronger these
Oh,
years
yeah,
than
of
they
course.
used to be, right?
Yeah, in certain regions like it's raining like so much nowadays. It was much strong. It was much like less before. I guess the moisture laden winds basically uh like there are more in number compared to before. Like the clouds hold more moisture.
Yes. And also, several big countries which have pollution problems, again, like India, are also trying to get off coal power because to help air quality in places like New Delhi or Bombay, right?
Yeah. We're trying to like divert into like different topics such as hydroelectricity, etc.
Yes. And so, it is a very big problem nowadays. Air pollution and climate change and these things, and we have to do we have to do our best to try and remediate these problems and solve them. Now,
Yeah, I think you're correct
there
there. You go on. You go on.
Yes, there are several energy sources which are being explored today. And there is wind power, there is solar power, there is hydroelectricity, and so on. And everyone has advantages and disadvantages, but you can see, I can link you later if you want to, but the IPCC says that the lowest carbon and the most reliable one is nuclear power, which is what I study,
Yeah, that's you also study nuclear energy, right?
Yes, I study nuclear physics, yes.
Oh, nuclear physics basically. So, what's involvement of nuclear physics in like talking about an aspect of climate change and sustainability?
Yes. And we need to. Nuclear physics is useful in that nuclear energy can generate electricity and process heat without generating greenhouse gases and without sort of the variability that renewables have, because other sources like wind and solar, they're variable, meaning that they are not reliable. The sun doesn't always shine, the wind doesn't always blow, and so on. So its main advantage is that it's very reliable, and the other advantage is that it requires very little concrete and steel. You don't have to build very much, because the one gram of uranium or thorium contains as much energy as 3 tons of coal,
Oh wow, that's pretty crazy. Like, like the power it carries, it's just very immense. But I like
Yes.
that brings up some issues. For example, what if doesn't that have like bad side effects on the planet?
Yes. So nuclear energy, when done correctly, is the cleanest form of energy you can have. And even during the accidents, you generally have very contained problems. The worst accident you have happened to this day is Chernobyl. Have you ever heard of Chernobyl?
Yeah. It's a Russian. It was Russian accident. I know about it.
Yes, it was in Ukraine. It happened in the time of the Soviet Union.
Mm.
And yes. And this was the worst accident. No accident even comes close. Number 2 most destructive accident was near where my dad used to live, in the Fukushima Daiichi, and it only killed one person because of radiation, you know? All the rest were killed because of the evacuation and the panic and the tsunami and all the other things. Chernobyl killed more people. It killed about 3,000 in total if you count everything from the explosion to the radiation to everything. Killed about 3,000 people. But that is the same as the 9/11, you know, the Twin Towers.
Yeah, I do agree with you. Like, it's more about the fact that people were so in such a state of panic, like they trampled over each other more than the building collapsing actually killed them.
Yes. And so, and no one says we shouldn't build any more tall buildings because of 9/11, or no one is against aeroplanes because of 9/11. So, you know, the damage of nuclear energy, even when it happens badly, it is not very big, you know?
Yeah, that I agree with you. Like when we're talking about like large scale nuclear radiation, it's not as much as like other such problems. But the government to reduce climate change is cutting down on nuclear factories, etc. But I don't think that's the solution.
Yes. And like, if you look at there are only really 2 options of energy that are like both clean and reliable. Because, you know, solar and wind are clean and not reliable, you know?
Yeah.
But the only 2 options are hydroelectricity and nuclear. Hydroelectricity is not available for everybody. Not every country has, you know, like big rivers.
Yeah,
So,
I agree with you.
That only leaves nuclear as the reliable
option.
form.
Yeah, the best option, in my opinion. So also, like, we talked about this right now. Another thing I would want to talk about is like, what different projects have you done for climate change?
Yes. So, I think the most cool one I have to talk about with you is actually 2 projects which I have done. Do you know what a Gen 4 reactor is?
Oh yeah. You're talking about the large nuclear reactors, right? The larger ones.
The Gen 4 reactors, they're like current reactors. They're all based on water, right? They use water. You put uranium in water, and you heat the water, and you make a turbine turn, right? With the boiled water, right?
Yeah, like the traditional ones we have, right?
Yes, the traditional ones. The Generation 4 we had things like molten salt reactors and pebble bed reactors. Do you know?
No, I don't know this, and I don't study nuclear physics.
So, okay, no, it's very simple. I'll explain. So, the molten salt reactor is, instead of having ceramic pellets of uranium dipped in water, we have a liquid, like a molten liquid, kind of like lava, but made of uranium, and we use that to heat up the turbine to make the electricity, you know?
Oh yeah, I know the last part.
Yes. And so, you know, I was working on these reactors because why do we want to use them? Because they can get very hot, and you can use them to make hydrogen. Do you know what hydrogen is?
Yeah, I know hydrogen.
So, yes. So I was working on a project to use one of these reactors, like a molten salt or a pebble bed, which is similar to a traditional reactor but with gas instead of water, and to make hydrogen. to make chemicals like fertilizer and gasoline
Oh, that's
without
cool.
having to use petroleum.
Yeah. So in like basic words, you kind of like use the different nuclear physics to make fertilizers, if we can.
Yes, you make fertilizers and gasoline.
Oh, you use uranium, right?
Yes, we use uranium. Yes, we use uranium to make either a salt or a gas very hot, and we use that heat to make hydrogen.
That seems cool. Like it seems like a cool
Break
concept.
water and make hydrogen instead of having to use natural gas, which puts out CO2.
Yeah, I kind of agree with what you're saying here. Another thing I wanted to talk to you about is what do you think is the future scope of sustainability as a whole?
What do I think is the
Future scope, like future, what can be done in the future with sustainability?
Oh, yes. I believe that the most important thing we can do for sustainability at this very moment is to try and deploy clean energies like solar and nuclear as fast as we can, so that the people that are poor can have access to electricity and don't have to burn fossil fuels.
I kind of agree with that. Like people like most climate activists see nuclear energy as a bad alternative to like solar energy, but I think I agree with you there that we can explore nuclear energy more. Maybe like the problems which we have, like the dangers which we have, it's just like people who are not
Yes.
like they're not professional enough to do
Yes,
such
and did
things.
you know that most of the pollution, most of the air deaths from air pollution come from Africa?
Huh. Why is that?
Yes, because people are very poor in Africa generally, mainly West and Central Africa. And so instead of burning LPG or CNG or using electric cookers, they have to cook with wood or with poop.
What?
Like they burn wood and they burn poop
Wow,
for
that's crazy.
heating. Yes,
Mhm.
and it generates a lot of smoke, and they have to smell all of that smoke, you know?
It seems like a bad
And
situation
it
for
kills
them.
a lot of people.
Like how many people does it kill if you are looking at it like
Oh,
yearly?
I can say I don't have the number by head, but if memory serves, we're talking about hundreds of thousands, like 200, 300,000 people a year, if I'm not mistaken.
So like you're trying to say like if we instead use other alternatives than burning like
Yes.
bio if like what alternative can we
Yes.
use?
Yes, if we are able to like use clean energies to deliver these people clean fuels like electricity or hydrogen, we're going to be able to stop deforestation in a lot of Africa, and we're going to reduce the number of deaths by air pollution, you know? And deforestation, as you know, is one of the biggest drivers of climate change, right? But people have to deforest because, they need to cut the trees for the wood.
Yeah, I agree with you there. Like deforestation is still important because we need trees, right? There are sustainable ways of
yes.
tree farming, but they're not cheaper to say. So, like, I do see why nuclear energy is a good alternative to other such conventional means, in terms of like pricing and also in terms of convenience. And like it does not carry many dangers if cared with professionally. Like what do you think can be the
Yes.
dangers of nuclear physics in terms of sustainability if it's not taken with good care?
Well, the worst thing that can happen is not even with reactors, it's with bombs, right?
Yeah.
I mean, we have several countries that have now nuclear weapons, and most of them seem to be doing all right in keeping their nuclear weapons not in use, like France and England are doing, or even India and Pakistan. But you have a few crazy countries like North Korea, who threaten to use nukes every day, and Russia, who say, and I think that is the worst thing, we could do for the climate and for the planet, would be to, use nuclear bombs on each other and create a nuclear winter.
Yeah, I think
that would be terrible.
Yeah, because nuclear bombs are definitely a no-go. Like, I think it's wrong to have a general assumption that nuclear things are bad overall. It's just that if they're used correctly, if they're used with care, they can actually serve a good purpose in terms of climate change. Is that what I'm hearing?
I think it was your prime minister who said about the nuclear bombs. He said that if two people have a lot to lose, because when he was talking about nuclear bombs. So if two people have a lot to lose, then neither side will attack, because no one wants to lose.
Yeah, but like I understand.
I think that is the best situation for nuclear weapons, is when nobody uses them because they're scared the other guy's gonna use them.
I think like there were many tries to like remove like all nuclear bombs, destroy all nuclear bombs, but those do not usually like go in a correct way, because
yes,
it does
because
not,
they're scared that they're gonna be the only ones who are gonna lose, and they're gonna get invaded by others who didn't lose them.
But in my opinion, like nobody's gonna like use nuclear bombs intentionally. For example, if you use a nuclear bomb on another country, what's gonna happen is it's gonna damage your own country more than it's gonna damage their country, because that's how. Like even if like 1,000 miles away from India a nuclear bomb goes off, it will have effects till India. Reason being, because of nuclear waves, right? It has a lot.
And also because today's market is very connected. For an example, most people can remember in 2022 when Russia invaded Ukraine. Yes.
Yeah, I remember
almost all the wheat in the world and the bread comes from Ukraine, right? So the bread became much more expensive even in other countries that were very far from Ukraine,
Yeah, it has economic problems as well, which are brought upon it. Nuclear war.
Yes. So using a nuclear bomb would destroy not only the country you're trying to destroy, but would actually destroy a good part of the whole world's economy.
Yeah, I understand, like that those can be the bad effects of nuclear physics or for climate change and sustainability. But concluding with this podcast, what do you think the future of nuclear physics in terms of sustainability and climate change actually is?
The future of nuclear physics. I believe that we're going to develop in the short term, like next year or this year. India is starting to develop a big nuclear program, right, with the IPHWR, the Indian pressurized heavy water reactor.
Yeah, basically
in China.
Yeah, it's basically like I think it's not offensive. Basically it's just to like combat threats from like China.
Yes. India has new reactors. China is trying to make new reactors too. France has the project to make 14 new reactors in its own territory. And in the short term, I think people are going to make new reactors because now we have electric cars, and so people are going to want more electricity than they used before, right? And so I think that is the short-term thing. The long term, the medium term, let's say, is to develop these advanced technologies that like molten salt reactors and things like that, and pebble bed reactors, the things I worked on, to make more efficiently using less uranium and less steel.
I agree with you.
In the far future, I think we're gonna do fusion. I think we're gonna like be able to turn seawater into energy.
Yeah, with nuclear physics, right?
Yes. We're gonna be able to use hydrogen like we use uranium today, and it's gonna be very cheap, and this is gonna make us able to do things we can't even imagine today.
I think that's a cool concept in my opinion. But what do you think, what do you think is the possibility that we can have cars which are powered by nuclear energy?
Yes, I don't think they'll be directly powered by nuclear. And I don't think you're gonna have like a nuclear reactor in your
Yeah,
car.
I'm not suggesting
But I
that.
do think people are gonna have like electric cars, you know, and they're gonna and the electricity to charge their electric cars is gonna come from the grid, that it will be powered at least in part by nuclear energy. So it will be indirect nuclear.
Yeah, I agree with that. Like the batteries are gonna be nuclear charged. You're talking about that basically.
Yes.
Yeah, I think
And
that's
we also are able now to make gasoline that doesn't drive climate change with nuclear energy. So we can run other things like airplanes and the boats and things like that. So I think the future is bright.
Oh yeah. So concluding with this podcast, what do you think of the podcast? Was it really fun?
Yes, it was fun. It was very good.
What would you rate it out of 10?
9.
Yeah, I also would rate it a 9. It was really fun talking to you. I really like the concepts which you are bringing from nuclear physics and physics into sustainability and climate change. I think they can go a long way. I think you also helped me and a lot of people clarify doubts about the fact that is nuclear energy safe, because I think you have made it clear that if nuclear energy is used right, it can be used safely. We do not have to shut down all nuclear plants or everything. I think you have helped clear that confusion which people have. In anyways, this podcast has been really great talking to you. Do you wanna tell about your Instagram or something?
No need to.
Yeah. So this was our podcast. See you guys next time with another guest, and it's been a real delight talking to you. And this was Dilshan, and I'm over and out.